Today I'm going to show you how to make Gua Bao. 3 different ways: regular, sourdough discard, and gluten-free. Hi, I'm Sune, and I'm a food geek. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to make Gua Bao. This video is the first of my new series called Different Ways that will showcase a dish or an ingredient and showing different ways to prepare and use it and compare the results, both in terms of taste, texture, and what other things I may find relevant. I hope you're looking forward to this series as much as I am. Gua Bao is a steamed dumpling made from a wheat-based disc of dough. It's leavened using yeast, folded in half, and then steamed. Then it's split and filled with various delicious things. The traditional fillings are steamed or crispy pork belly, pickled mustard greens, coriander or cilantro, and ground peanuts. There are many variations on this theme, and what I'm going to show you today does not have all the traditional Gua Bao fillings, but it's delicious nonetheless. The word bao means bun in Chinese. In the West, they're often called bao buns, which would then mean bun bun. The word bao is also often used for Gua Bao, and that's really called baozi, which is a round steamed dumpling, also known as a lotus leaf bun. While these are also great, they're not the topic of today's video. The Gua Bao itself originates from the Fujian province in China, but today you will find them in any city with any kind of foodie presence. We have some great dumpling places in Copenhagen. If you're new to this channel, I bake a lot of sourdough bread and I make delicious food from all over the world. If you want to see more of this content, please join me by subscribing and ringing the bell so you won't miss any future videos. I'm going to show you 3 variations of the Gua Bao. The traditional one made with wheat flour and yeast, a sourdough discard version also with wheat flour and yeast, and lastly a gluten-free option, since it seems like a lot of people have difficulty eating gluten. It's made using both cornstarch, potato starch, rice flour, and glutinous rice flour. While glutinous rice flour sounds like it may contain gluten, it doesn't. It's made from a specific sticky type of rice and is also known under the name sticky rice flour. The meat is marinated pork, which is also a lot faster to prepare than the pork belly. For the other fillings, I'm opting for some pickled cucumbers and carrots, fresh chilies, spring onions or scallions, and for sauce, I'm using hoisin sauce. Importantly, also a good sprinkling of toasted sesame seeds. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider becoming a member at Patreon. You can also buy some merch or use the links in the description for tools and ingredients. Those were the words, these are the recipes. There's a link in the description for the recipe on my website. Start out by pickling cucumbers and carrots. In a microwave-safe container, combine 1 deciliter or 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 deciliter or 1/2 cup of vinegar. Microwave it on full until it boils. Mix it up until all of the sugar is dissolved. And add a pinch of salt and put it away for now. Then slice half a cucumber thinly. I'm using a mandolin. Then grab 2 mason jars. Add half of the pickling liquid to each. Then add some julienne carrots to one. I bought them like this. I'm a lazy bastard, I know. And the cucumber slices to the other. Then put them in the fridge until you need them. They're best after 24 hours, but give them at least 1 hour. Then it's time to marinate the meat. To a small bowl add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of neutral cooking oil, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 3 tablespoons of hoisin sauce, 3 tablespoons of honey, 1 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice, 2 tablespoons of dark brown sugar, a 2.5 centimeter 1-inch piece of ginger finely grated, 2 cloves of crushed garlic. Mix it all together. Add the marinade to 500 grams, about 18 ounces of lean pork in cubes. I used something akin to pork butt or Boston butt. Make sure all of the meat is covered in the marinade. Put it in the fridge for at least an hour, but 24 hours is better. Then it's time to make the dumpling dough. First I'll show you the traditional way. To a medium bowl add 300 grams or 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 125 grams or 1 cup of cornstarch, 25 grams or 2 tablespoons of sugar, 10 grams or 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder, 7 grams or 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, 5 grams or 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. Mix it up so that everything is completely distributed. Then add 210 grams or 7/8 of a cup of tepid water, 60 milliliters or 1/4 cup of neutral cooking oil. Mix until you have a shaggy dough, then move it to the counter. Knead it until you have a nice cohesive, tacky but not sticky dough. Put in a container so you can monitor the growth and let it double in size. Now I'll show you how to make the sourdough discard version. To a medium bowl add 200 grams or 1½ cup of all-purpose flour, 125 grams or 1 cup of cornstarch, 5 grams or 3/4 teaspoon of table salt, 10 grams or 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder, 5 grams or 2 tablespoons of sugar, 7 grams or 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. Mix it up so that everything is completely distributed. Then add 200 grams or 3/4 cup of sourdough discard, 110 milliliters or half a cup of tepid water, 60 milliliters or 1/4 cup of neutral cooking oil. Mix until you have a shaggy dough, then move it to the counter. Knead it until you have a nice cohesive, tacky but not sticky dough. Put it in a container so you can monitor the growth and let it double in size. Now I'll show you how to make the gluten-free dough. To a medium bowl add 170 grams or 1 1/3 cup of cornstarch, 85 grams or ½ cup of potato starch, 85 grams or ½ cup of rice flour, 85 grams or ½ cup of glutinous rice flour, 5 grams or 3/4 teaspoon of table salt, 7 grams or 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, 10 grams or 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder, 25 grams or 2 tablespoons of sugar. Mix it up so that everything is completely distributed. Then add 210 grams or 7/8 of a cup of tepid water, 60 milliliters or 1/4 cup of neutral cooking oil. Mix it the best you can. When it starts to come together, move it to the kitchen counter. Then knead it until all of the dry flour has been incorporated into the dough. The dough will never seem cohesive, as that's what gluten does for your regular dough. Put it in a container so you can monitor the growth and let it double in size. While the dough is rising, you can prepare the fillings. Toast a couple of tablespoons of sesame seeds on a warm pan. When they're nice and golden and super fragrant, add them to a bowl to cool off. This took about 5 minutes in all. Cut 2 scallions on the bias. That's what we call a 45-degree miter cut in woodworking. Then grab a good handful of coriander leaves or cilantro. Then cut 2 chilies finely. You decide what strength they should be. These are in the jalapeno range. There, that does it for the fillings. Then it's time to prepare the meat. You can use the meat warm or cold in the Gua Bao. It's up to you. Add the bag of meat, including the leftover marinade, to a pan heated to medium-high. Fry them until they're wonderfully caramelized and cooked all the way through. Put them aside until you're going to assemble the Gua Bao. You can leave them on low heat on the stove if you want to serve them warm. When the dough has doubled in size, it's time to shape it. First, I'm going to show you the shaping for the traditional and the sourdough discard version. Shape the dough into a ball. Divide the ball into 8 equally sized pieces. Then shape each piece into a smaller ball. Grab a baking sheet and line it with parchment paper. Then take a dough ball and put it on a flattened paper muffin liner. Squeeze it flat. Oil the top of the dough. Then put a chopstick on the middle of the dough and fold it over. Shape the rest of the dough balls the same way. Then cover the pan with a clean dish towel and let them rise for 30 minutes. The gluten-free buns are shaped mostly the same way, but I just wanted you to see the dough and what to expect. I don't shape them into balls, but I make a disc. As you can see, you kind of need to squeeze to keep it together. Then add a disc to a flattened paper muffin liner and carefully tap it flat. Oil the top. Then put a chopstick on the middle of the dough and carefully fold it. Shape the rest of the dough the same way. Cover the pan with a clean dish towel and let them rise for 30 minutes. When the dough is risen, it's time to steam the buns. I used a wok with a bit of water at the bottom and bamboo steamer baskets. It's important that the water does not touch the baskets when you put them in. Bring the water to a light simmer, then put the steamer basket into the wok and let them steam for 10 to 12 minutes. Now it's time to assemble the Gua Bao. When I serve this for my family, I let everybody just make their own. I don't know if there's a specific way of doing it, but here's my method. Add some meat to the bao. Then some pickled carrots. Pickled cucumbers. A drizzle of hoisin sauce. A good sprinkle of toasted sesame seeds. Then top with some spring onions. Coriander leaves or cilantro. And some fresh chilies. And now it's time to eat. Mmm. Oh, good. Yummy. While I finish my bao, you can look at these pictures. After that, I will give you my conclusion. Damn, those things are good. So what were the differences? Well, the regular Gua Bao was exactly that. An excellent Gua Bao with a fluffy bun and some delicious fillings. I'd eat that any old day. The sourdough discard Gua Bao brings something different to the table. There's more taste to the actual bun, the flavor's more well developed. And that's without adding any extra time to the rise. I love sourdough discard recipes. The gluten-free Gua Bao was not as fluffy as the other two, but the problem lies within the nature of the beast. Without gluten to keep the dough together, you cannot get the same kind of results. That being said, it's a good Gua Bao, good taste, and will definitely keep your fillings together. If you have to eat gluten-free, you don't have to miss eating delicious Gua Bao. I hope you learned something today. See you next time.